Fellow cultivators, welcome to a new guide video for Tale of Immortal. This video we're going to talk about the Dragon Sect, or say the Yulong Mountain Hamlet. And as mentioned in my other video for new players, I actually do not recommend this thing for new players. And but I know this Elder Dragon aura is very appealing for you when you are trying to create a character. 5 attack, 10 agility, and +5 spear looks very good. But the main thing is, once you choose this thing, you are kind of binded to a different playthrough, basically the Dragon Hamlet. So, of course, you do not need to select it. But if you literally do not care about it, then I don't really see the point of playing the Dragon Sect anyway. And the main reason I do not recommend to new players is if you choose this thing and you choose to join the Dragon Sect, you are literally forced to become the sect leader and manage the sect in the very early of the game, because otherwise you can't even move to the next region. And sect management, even though quite important and quite really helps you when you are playing Chaos and later part, but if you just started playing the game, it can be a bit boring. So that's why I do not recommend it, but still. So before we start, let's talk about a few things that can be a bit confusing about the Dragon Sect. The first one is Dragon Sect the only way you can be sect leader early, which is actually quite a common myth among many players. But the answer is of course no, because as you can see in my Chaos playthrough, doesn't matter if you choose this Elder Dragon Aura or not, there is always a small sect in the beginning of the game in Yulong region where you can become the sect leader very early. So it doesn't matter at all. Sect leader playthrough and Dragon Sect, they are not connected in any way. Now, the second question is, Dragon Sect, is it only for spear? Well, this question is a bit more difficult to answer because it is more or less true. Like the Dragon Sect, it is really mainly for spear. So when you enter the Dragon Sect, there will always be 2 martial art spiritual rules available. One is guaranteed to be spear. The other one is a high-risk route you have in the beginning of the game. So as you can see, it is sort of recommended to play spear, and in my humble opinion, first of all, if you actually play a proper spear build, Dragon Sect might not be the best choice ever, because choosing Dragon Sect, choosing following bug, Destiny, you are using 5 Destiny slots on this thing. You are only left with 4 Destiny available. And for many builds, including Spear, 4 is really kind of not enough to make a perfect build. And for some other builds like Water Sword or Fire Fist, it's actually much easier. So that's why if you play in Dragon Sect, you can actually play in Water Sword, Fire Fist, etc. This kind of playthroughs which does not take you Destinies. So they're not completely bounded, but it is recommended to play Spear, as I will do in this video. And one thing is weird is playing Spear, to play properly, you kind of want Murderous, right? And it is hard to get if you are playing Dragon Sect. So I might do a little bit twist in this playthrough. But if you are playing otherwise, not in Chaos, it doesn't matter. So when you enter the game, you will find this person, Yunya, maybe 1 or 2 months in Yulong region. He will appear and invite you to join the Dragon Sect. So if you join now, you can just play normally. But the thing about Dragon Sect, it does not have Sect Destiny. And if you want Murderous Rise, which is kind of important for Spear, you can only use 2 different ways. One is Conquer, one is Invisible Elixir. Both ways requires some sect in this entire map, on this map, have Murderous Rise. If none of them have it, which is actually very, very possible, then you don't have any other choice. So instead, what I'm going to do is I am not going to join now, even though I will tell them, I'm going to go over and see, but I'm not going to enter the sect at all. I'm not going to this small place at all. I will come to join some other sect and then become sect leader in Huafeng region, because that's the only way I can be sect leader since the Yongling region has been taken over by the Dragon Sect. I will use Ancient Page to change the sect destiny to Murderous Rise, and then I will learn Murderous Rise, and then I will come back to the Dragon Sect. So that's what I'm gonna. And first breakthrough to Foundation, obviously we're going to take Following Bug. Because if you're not going to take Following Bug, are you really playing a Dragon Sect playthrough? Out of them, Blood Power is good. If you find something good, you might consider taking it. But in this case, I think in the later I might still get Blood Power. So I will just take following back, and basically after this you will have a little bug beside you, which is not much useful to be honest, especially if you are not in the dragon sect like I am not in dragon sect now. And as we have reached Chi condensation, we can quit our previous sect, or if you don't want to quit, you don't need to quit. However, right now we have found this singular sect in Huafeng region, so each region should have one single sect, basically a non-branch one. So you can just try to apply and get into this sect, and I will become the sect leader here. It doesn't matter what kind of the sect destiny here it is, because if I will become sect leader, then I will try to change the sect destiny here to Murderous Rise. And let's try to use it to change the thing, and yes, we got Murderous Rise. So now we have Murderous Rise here. Now what we can do is to stay in this place, use this item, Jagu's Memories. We can, if you know, at this time you should have, if you are at Origin Spirit, you should have 4 destiny to rewrite. You can delete the one which is not following back. Okay, let's delete this guy, even though it's really good to have it, but Murderous Rise is even more important. So we'll choose this and change it to Murderous Rise. And now we are ready to leave this sect and finally go back to the Yulong Mountain Hamlet and join it. And as I said in the beginning, this is very convoluted. If you're playing lower difficulty, so you just don't care about the builds, don't care about Murderous Rise, then skip all this thing. It's just a very convoluted way for me to get Murderous Rise for this. And once you first come to the Yulong Mountain Hamlet, Yunya will basically let you know about some history of this sect. And if you have taken the convoluted route to get Murderous Rise, so like me right now, I'm at Origin Spirit, and you need to first quit your sect, because otherwise you will be bugged out. So quit your sect first. And then you come to here, basically it introduces you the Immortal Mang and Zhao, and the thing is, their sect is almost dying. It's very much mismanaged, which is absolutely normal for AI. They don't have ChatGPT after all. You accept the quest and join it, and as you can see, this is one way for you to actually get into the Yulong Hamlet while you are way overwhelmed, like the Origin Spirit. That's just because you are accepting it from a quest. Anyway, so just now you have seen that Yunya has some concerns, and this is a little bit of small quest, a series of small quests. While you are starting the game, you can just go along this thing, see a little bit more history about the Mountain Hamlet. I think at certain points the enemy is more difficult if you are at Chi refining. But it should be no problem when you reach Foundation. And for me, I don't think there's a problem at all. Honestly, if you are following this small little quest in the beginning of the Yulong Mountain Hamlet, Yunya sometimes acts very suspicious, because everything just happens so conveniently, like you are trapped by the Earth-shaking Cauldron, and you manage to gain a lot of experience. So, interesting enough. And to continue, obviously, instead of directly entering cave, you can scoop up water, and that always gives you more things. Right now I'm Origin Spirit, but if you're at Chi refining or something like that, experience quite some. And yeah, so Sword Bambuki. I think this is the final boss of this small quest. I think it will be a bit difficult if you're at Chi refining, so better do this when you are at Foundation. Oh well. Even one skill fruit. So this thing, green bamboo slug. Supposedly when you look at this thing, it looks as if it's something quest item you will be used later. Fact is, it's not. they just stopped all the quests here. And there's nothing continue with this, which is very weird. And yeah, it tells you Yulong is in the library. Let's go there. And so basically, it just talk about everything's just coincidence. Oh wow. So it actually gives you a special skill at your current realm. So for you, if you start at the beginning, it must be foundation, but for me, it's actually already spirit, and it will be your highest root. So it's supposed to be spear, but okay, interesting. And now finally, we have become the sect leader of the Yulong Mountain Hamlet. And now we can get into the Greenscale Spring. And interesting enough, Yulong tells you you can upgrade it and there are special effects. So basically, you get one special effect at each region, and in the end it can transform into a dragon if you have following bug 5. Alright? So basically, okay. You can talk with the dragon, which increases the affinity a tiny bit. I have never in my life increased this a bit more than like half of the heart, because I really don't know how to increase it, and I don't know what's the use of increasing this here. And you can, as in the first region, basically you can upgrade it, and it allows you to choose from the 4 different effects. So let's see what others do. And first one, Dragon Scale, is the one I would recommend you to choose out of the 4, mainly because it has very good damage. Basically, you're following dragon or following bug will emit a small dragon ball and attract the enemy and deals a lot of damage to it. The number here scales with my current realm, so if you add foundation or like the chi condensation, it won't be 2300. Will be a bit lower, but still will be really good damage source. And just compare it to the last one, Dragon Raging, 7 multiplied by 63, compared to this. I mean, they are not even comparable. And some people will recommend you take Dragon Soul or Dragon Majesty, because Dragon Majesty mainly just to silence the enemy, which is not much useful towards mythical monsters, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong, but you know. Well, Dragon Soul is something like you increase 7% of damage. But just from progressing point of view, I would really recommend you take Dragon Scale, because that will help you to progress a lot. Just trust me. Choose this one. And once you upgrade one, you will get this Qingyuan quest. I kind of recommend you to do this quest with a little above your realm. So if you're at Yulong region, it's better you do it at Qi condensation, because Qingyuan can be a little bit difficult. Well, in this case, we can directly do it, and let's see what Qingyuan does. So basically, I want to show you is here is the dragon scale. So basically, what's the effect? Here you go. This little ball is the dragon scale, and you can see how much damage it does. Of course, right now it's Origin Spirit, but still, it's generally really good. Well, secret core. Yeah, every time you defeat Qingyuan, you will also get some sort of a book. After shifting the Yulong Mountain Hamlet to the second Huafeng region, now we can upgrade our Greenscale Spring a second time. It will cost some spirit stones from your sect, so just get enough spirit stones there. And this time, we're again given 4 different choices. Dragon Blood recovers some HP, but it's too slow, 1% every 3 seconds, not good. Dragon Tooth also recover HP, basically it allows you to restore HP when the following bug deals damage. It's 4% of damage dealt by the following bug, which is also not really enough. So, yeah. Some people will choose Dragon Roll because the Phantom, basically it increases the damage of the whole thing, but I would definitely choose Dragon Vein, because this basically gives you a second chance. I mean, especially in Chaos, you're very easily to die, and especially you cannot have Conceal Nirvana, since that's a sect destiny, and we already choose our chance to choose Murderous, right? So we don't have Conceal Nirvana, so Dragon Vein is kind of the way to keep you not dying. And once you choose this, you upgrade again, you will receive the second quest, which requires you to get Cosmos Essence. And so, as I maybe mentioned before, this is an item which can be dropped from the bosses from the 6 regions in the Huafeng region. And in order to finish the quest, you need to have that in your thing, and then you click back in again. You can just give it, and it will automatically finish the quest. And you will get the second book. And the third upgrade of Greenscale have 4 options, and they are all very good. So generally, they are all quite good. Dragon Spirit basically allows you to reduce the cooldown of your high-risk cooldown skill for 0.4 seconds every 1 second, and when falling back deals damage. And if you have level 4 falling back, it's basically dealing damage all the time, and this is quite good. And I would actually recommend you to choose it if you're using, for example, Water Sword build with the Dragon Sect. And second one, Dragon Heart, which allows you to recover some HP every 5 seconds. It's not much, looks now, but you will know later that we kind of need some way to recover HP because we won't have enough destinies for blood power, so it can still quite good. Then, well, in this playthrough, I have to choose the two other two, Dragon Soul and Dragon Life Force. So Dragon Soul, every time you use special skill, it will basically stun the enemy for 1 second, and this will increase as well. I really like this because, you know, one of the biggest problems of Spear is you can't, when you use your Spear charge, sometimes you can't hit the enemy, and stun it is just much easier. That's why I like this one. But you can choose any of them. And finally, Dragon Life Force basically allows falling boss to build flame. Says fairy flame, but it's not real fairy flame, it's just flame. When you use out, it deals somewhat damage, and I like it as well. And I chose this in my 4th upgrade because 4th upgrade basically is just a mixture of previous 3, and you can choose one. I could have chosen Dragon Spirit, or Dragon Heart, but just take it as you wish. Before we talk about 5th upgrade, because that will be later, we're first talking about what kind of divine is so. And I usually would recommend either Jiulong or Gochen. Gochen is really for you to recover MP, but Jiulong really can increase the damage a lot. And not only because it increases your special skill damage up to 40%, but also the giant dragon is really good. So I would choose Jiulong in this case. So the first level 1 to 3 falling back is kind of underwhelming, but the 4th one, falling back 4, which you can only take if you choose the Dragon Sect, is really good. And mainly because every time you use any kind of skill, like dash or blink skill, which means your spear's special skill and motion skill, it will go into frenzy mode, and that is really good. And just look at this. So normally it does not really attack that much, as you can see. It just stays there, and that's one of the main problems with following back. It does not attack much. But when we use this spear skill, it just goes to frenzy. It keeps on attacking, and this is the time when it actually becomes much better. And that is one of the reasons why you can use in the Water Sword as well. Because for Water Sword, you can use in water motion, which is a dash skill, and this little dragon will attack all the time. When we move to late game stuff, let's first see what middle game play looks like. So here I'm at Soul Formation. I'm still using Narsen Soul skills, as you can see, and I'm using a shield. So I do have Combat Expertise Spare Hand at this point. I do have Enlightenment, Move, and Sutra because I upgrade them from Soul Formation. Everything else at Narsen Soul, and I'm using a Fist Divine Power since I'm using a Fist. So in this battle, you will see that it takes a bit more time. So I'm using my shield and stun it, and when my Murderous appears, I get charged 6 times. And you can see that it already dealt 1/3 of the damage of the 9 tails in the end of the Dao Realm. Notice that I'm using a Narsen Soul skill of the Dragon Rising. So if I'm using a proper Soul Formation one, it will be better. And so it is not as impressive as my other Spear video in my channel, and mostly because I am definitely not min-maxed at Soul Formation. I might be min-maxed stat at Narsen Soul, but Soul Formation is not. And here you can see that I'm using a skill called the Bamboo Pit skill as my B skill because I'm using the Eye, and if you're using the Gourd, it's the same thing, you can just summon the Bamboo King. And the main reason for this is because you lack a way to recover HP and MP, because most of your destinies are in this dragon. You see the dragon, it does quite some damage. It keeps on attacking because I'm keep on charging, so it's not too bad. but I need a way to recover HP and MP. So the bamboo summoned by the Bambuki skill counts as allied unit, and in my sutra and guide, I have the way that when allied unit on board or when they die, I will recover HP and MP. And notice my HP is recovering right now, and once this bamboo disappears, now notice my MP is also recovering, right? So this is actually the main way for you to recover HP and MP in mid game. And even if you do not have the eye or the gore, you can still using a spear alternate called the spear formation, where the spears also count as allied unit, and that allows you to recover HP and MP. Especially in middle game when the battle drags long, this is quite helpful. And of course, you can always use your motion skill and special skill to dodge enemy attacks like Ninetales, so it is quite good. So this is the third time or the fourth time I use my ult, and this should deal with it. So once you upgrade to level 5 of Following Dragon, or True Dragon Formation or something like that, you come to the Greenscale Spring and you can change form. So you can either choose the female or the male, and I'm using a male character, so obviously I'm going to choose the female dragon. So yeah, save cannot be undone, but actually there is a way. You just, delete the destiny. But that's a different thing. So now your little dragon becomes your dragon waifu. So after this, Vinya will actually tell you something about this, because it actually changes a lot. So the main thing is it will actually add a different skill to you, basically your ultimate. So instead of using your ultimate, sometimes when it's ready, you will actually change your form. So you can choose 3 different forms: red, blue, and yellow. So, and they sort of replace your ultimate. Sometimes it can be a bit annoying when you are really careful on timing. But yeah. So now when you go outside, you can see that this little dragon woman is following you. And you can switch different dragon forms in here. And I would actually recommend you to choose blue dragon form if you are still not before reborn. And blue dragon is just good because allows you to charge more, and also 90% of mana cost. Mana is important here. So here I want to use the Reborn Bird fight, where you're late enlightenment tool, just to show you the blue dragon form. So here I have you take the Yuan thing because I need a lot of HP and MP. We are still starting with again standard shield thing to increase the critical damage, and then charge 6 times while I'm in Murderous Rise. And now we can use the blue dragon form. You can see I can again immediately charge again. And basically I have infinite charge, because you can see that my charging point here is recovering very fast. So I can charge in while in blue dragon form, and I'm hardly using any mana. And now once I separate from my little dragon, I cannot charge more. Then we just need to wait and use bamboo to recover HP and MP. Now, you always choose Arcane Bird. Always choose Arcane Bird. And here we will just show this battle again. Again, shield. Well, the dragon is doing the flame thing, and we charge 8 times. And then we get into blue dragon form. And during this time, we are kind of in risk as well. Then we just keep on charging, because we have infinite charge. And our giant dragon is also just coming back and forth. And now here, the main thing about Arcane Bird, Mirror Life, this is a skill you need, because this allows you to recover charging point where you are switching on the ethereal power of Arcane Bird. And that's the reason you choose Arcane Bird. And yeah, it is very important. And the next upgrade, we will actually need to choose the one which decreases the precondition for you to use ethereal power -2 Cloud Runner. So here. Finally, the last upgrade, we want to choose the one to increase the duration of ethereal power, because again, that is the mode you are infinite charge. So increase that. Another good build without combat expertise bare hand and shield ultimate is use fire motion and fire secret magic. As usual, fire makes everything good. And as you can see here, I'm using a spear ultimate, basically allows me to recover HP and MP. That's the main purpose actually. And I just use fire motion and then just charge 1 or 2 times, and then 1 bird is gone. It's crazy how good fire motion is. And of course, in this case, you can always still using fire motion and then get into your blue dragon form and then keep on charging. So yeah, fire motion and fire secret manual, that's another way to get going. And it is always great. And in order to shift your dragon sect to Chiyu region, you need to go through the main quest of the Chiyu region. So after you defeat some point, you will be invited into the Cultivators Alliance, and once you decide to join the Cultivators Alliance here, Luoying will ask you to shift your sect to here, and yeah, that is how you shift your sect to the Chiyu region, and it is actually quite important because only then you can upgrade your Greenscale to level 5, which will give you a great effect. And you should always choose Dragon Veil, the first one, because other two can't be compared with this one, because every time you use a special skill, you get absolute dodge, maximum of 5. The 5 dodge when you are using special skill, which you are using it all the time if you are doing this build properly. So yeah, Dragon Veil, definitely. I want to show you a battle against Jiuying while I'm at Reborn early, and I'm using all Enlightenment skills. Only thing is Mighty Strength, of course, that you need to increase attack, but basically full Enlightenment against Jiuying at Reborn early. So again, we're still using the same kind of build, basically all Enlightenments, the same thing as you showed just now. The Fire motion skill to boost my damage, and I have the Spear formation ultimate to do some damage, but also helps me to recover some HP MP. It works a bit weirdly. Initially, as you can see, it does not really do that much. And right now I am actually using a yellow dragon form, and mainly because this gives me a lot of shield. And this combined with the fact that I have absolute dodge every time I use special skill, which makes me much more tanky. And therefore I can survive among all this fire, poison, and ice and everything. And when I'm using my Arcane Bird, as I can see, I can use my special skills much more. So very fast, the right side is gone, and I deal with the left side. And you do see that my energy does drain out quite a bit more. And yeah, that is a problem because we don't really have a good way to recover energy. So the only way to recover is actually our ultimate. I'm right now just waiting. So fire motion again, deal with it, and waiting for the motion, dodge a little bit for the fireball because it's hard. And now use the ultimate. You see that my energy just increased quite a lot. That's how it goes. I do not know how exactly it works because instead of all the spears, slowly disappear one by one like the Bambuki's case. So in that case, my energy should increase slowly, but in this case, if I use the out energy, suddenly increase. At the same time, my HP also increased, and now I'm using my ethereal power, and you can see I am keep on charging, and my charging point just keep on reviving, and that is basically why you choose Arcane Bird. Even here, when I'm not really optimized, I'm still using Enlightenment skills. Think about it, and I can still basically get more Infinity Charm without Blue Dragon, just with the Arcane Bird. And Yellow Dragon every 20 times that do damage will give me a bit shield, and each shield can cancel attack. And yeah, that's the main reason. Also, Yellow Dragon provides you 25% of damage boost, so that's also great. So now only one dragon head is left. And notice that this guy Jiuying will actually deal a lot of damage now, but I am in the Arcane Bird mode. I am keep on charging, so I can dodge this laser attack all the time. And now, finally, last spear formation and last few charges during this done. The next one I want to show is the Blade Ultimate build. Here, too bad I'm still using Enlightenment skills. So the Blade Ultimate allows you to enter the 0 cooldown special skill mode with doesn't matter how many enemies are there. So just check my video, weird build that actually works. So you need Arcane Bird, and when you switch on Arcane Bird and switch on the Blade out, you enter this crazy god mode. And just to show you that I do have a upgraded Transcendent move, so that my attack is 10k at Reborn late, everything else in Enlightenment or nothing. So, and I'm going to upgrade, so I need to defeat first this guy Water God. So charge 6 times to switch on the Arcane Power, and then Fire Motion, switch on Arcane Bird, switch on the Ultimate, and it's a bit laggy, but yeah, in 2 seconds, this guy is done. 10k attack, everything else, Enlightenment. Similar with this Marker Bei Chongji, the same thing, first charge 6 times, so that we can switch it on, and now we can use fire motion, switch on this, switch on out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 seconds. It's crazily good. I know this build need combat expertise weapon, and previously if you have a shield you need combat expertise bare hand. But actually the one thing great about this thing, you can actually change your destiny very easily because you have a series, 5 series falling back. So if, for example, if I delete my falling back number 1, I can try to get 9 new choice of the things I need to be. I can always choose falling back, but I can also choose lightning burst, which is actually great for this kind of zero cooldown special skill build. So let me choose that, and then the next few I will be again provided with choices. And because Supernova Sword is just because I finished that quest, you know. And now I can choose back following back 1, and in this case I can get following back 1, 2, 3, 4 back, and I can get rid of use the Shintia's memory to get rid of one of my other skills to get falling back 5. And this is the way you can sort of manage to get what kind of the destinies you want even in chaos, because you know, series of destinies, you can always delete the first one, and each delete gives you 9 choices, and 5 series making 45 different choices, which is good. And at 45 you can also use the mushroom and you know, what is it called, the alchemy thing, so that again 3 choices in each 45 choices. So you know, it's pretty good. And notice that if I delete falling back 5, in this case, I'm back to falling back 4, right? And however, if I'm already upgraded the last 5th Greenscale upgrade, all 5th are still there. So level of your falling back and level of your Greenscale is not connected. You can have falling back 4, but all 5 upgrades. And that is good for example, a water sword build, which I'm going to show you now. And the main reason is because water motion counts as a dashing skill. So basically your little dragon is attacking all the time in this frenzy mode. But also, if you're using standard water sword, you have, you know, sword, divine power, etc. You have your motion skill and special skill casting all the time. Every time you cast special skill, you also get this doge effect from your Greenscale level 5, the Dragon Veil, so which makes you much more tankier as well. And also water sword doesn't care much about destinies. So we are doing a tower run here, and the first one is this guy, and we skip it because he's annoying. Now let's starting from this. We are just doing standard water sword now. You can see our little dragon is keep on attacking. Well, meanwhile, we are basically actually have the doji effect on all the time. And you can sort of see that there's a 5 just above my inventory, let's see. That is basically, I have still 5 doge. It's mainly because I have been keep on using my special skill. And also, water sword, one thing great is you can use a feast secret menu, so that you can see this guy has been stunned most of the time because the bone fracture can be applied while you're using your motion skill, and all of these attacks, including your little dragon attack, can trigger the bone fracture, and therefore the enemy is stunned all this time. So yeah, it's quite good. So yeah, in the end, let's see what is Tao Tie. And still the same thing, he's still stunned, even though he will wake up a bit longer, because you know, that's how those later on monsters are. But as you can also see my lightning burst, because I've been keep on using my special skill, is also doing quite good damage. So yeah, water sword is good with dragon step. And another thing, you can also use fire fist. Again, it does not require any kind of proper, you know, setup of the destinies. Therefore, we can also use this. The yellow dragon gives our shield, so that you can use heal breaker to denote the shield. And in this case, we can actually use a bone fracture fist to stun enemy instead of applying shield with the martial skill. And mainly because we have the fire thing. And also our shield can generate just from using the skills. And you can see we have a little bit shield, and 1 heal breaker is already enough to kill this. And that's just how good heal breaker is. I'm completely using irrelevant destinies. And it is here, same thing. I mean, lightning burst here, there's no use of it. And similarly, we are just doing standard thing here, and until the last, I believe, one, we are actually starting using things. But you see that because we are in bone fracture thing, all the enemies were stunned. They can't do much things. It's also great. And also this 4 stack of thing is good, because once we use our special skill, we are without shield, and this doge is good for us. And the last one is the first heal breaker does not do any damage. Therefore, we switch on the yellow dragon mode, switch on the out, increase a bit attack speed, and then we're just doing some damage, increase a bit of shield, and then denote it again. Still doing some damage and use fire motion again. A bit shield, did hit again, the same thing. So yellow dragon form allows us to gather a little bit shield even with a bone fracture fist. And finally another heal break. We are done. It is usable, not the best, but it's usable. And one final thing is you can actually use your motion skill without being sealed by the King Luhua if you are combining with your dragon. So for example here I'm using Fire Sword. King Luhua tried to seal my motion skill. I don't care, I just keep on using my motion skill. And once I have enough Fairy Flame, I can use my Sword Heavenly skill to kill it, if I equip it. But yeah, this only works when you are in with your dragon form. Otherwise, for example, now I will be sealed. So let's get into summary time. As you can see, it took me quite a long time to make this video because I actually need to make this character from the beginning, actually run it through till the Transcendent, and of course, during this time I use Trainer to reduce the time that I need to use, for example, to go to travel or to upgrade skills or this cultivation. That's why I managed to enter this Transcendent in such an early time, 15 years. It's because of Trainer. Don't ask me again why you are so fast, please, please. Anyways, but the point is, even though during this time in the middle, let's say in the mid game, I against 5 Divine Beast, or against, for example, the Dao Realm or Runs, or like say the Nether Bird, I try to use kind of basically min-max build in Nourishing Soul or Enlightenment, try to go through these challenges with a spear build, and it is okay. I can say that spear build with Dragon Sect in Chaos, it is still quite viable. The timing can be a bit difficult when you are using a shield one, because that requires you to actually switch on shield to apply stun to increase critical damage, and then when Murderous Rise appears, you use all your motion special skills. And if you use it correctly, it's very powerful, just like in my other video about Spear unplayable, that video. Well, that video I used the Mushroom Man, so I have 3 times more damage, so I can literally one round kills all the 5 Dio Beasts. Well, if you're using the Eye, it's a bit more difficult, but Eye does give you a way that to recover HP and MP from Bambuki skills, so a longer fight is still okay. And similarly, when you go to Enlightenment, if you're using the shield build, it's the same thing. But if you do not have combat expertise bare hand, just use the fire motion and the fire secret menu. That will boost your damage. Sometimes it's even better, as you can see from my Reborn Bird fight. And in that case, you can always use the Spear Formation ultimate, or you can use something else. And combat expertise weapon is quite good in late game. And in general, for example, right now I'm using the Blade Ultimate, right? That this allows you to get into one of the most powerful builds in the game. Basically, Demonblade Dragon Spear. And to achieve this, you need to use a Reborn Bird, which is Arcane Bird. And that is really the key, that you need ethereal power, so that once you deal critical damage, you recover the recharging point. And that is why you need Murderous Rise. Because Murderous Rise guaranteed crit, and therefore you enter the Arcane Bird, switch on an infinite charge mode. And yeah, infinite charge if you do not using this Demon Blade, otherwise it's just infinite 0 cooldown spear. And that's how spear goes. I would say this is basically a summary for everything. And as you know, still, Water Sword or Fire Fist, still great, even though you are using a dragon thing. And I would say one of the most powerful thing about the whole dragon thing is mainly your 5th Greenscale upgrade. Basically allows you to dodge once you use special skill, and that makes your Water Sword quite good as well. And of course, about little dragons. I mean, yellow dragon form for the shield and 25% damage. Blue dragon form is mainly when you are without Arcane Dragon, you get sort of infinite charge before Reborn, right? And also the 90% of cost is good when like you are really suffering because you do not have blood energy. Then it's a problem. I mean, in this build I do have blood energy because I do not have blood power to support it, because you know I already have 5 slots occupied by the dragon thing. Then you need combat expertise to use the weapon, right? The Demon Blade. And Murderous Rise is needed, and Lightning Burst is really good when you have 0 cooldown. And then I do not have anything for blood powered, so I have to use blood energy without a proper good HP recovery, and my HP recovery really coming from Sutra and from my guide MP recovery combined with Muqing. That's it. And that's one of the problems of the whole dragon sect with Spear, and it's because 5 destinies, it is really a big sunken cost. Even though they can provide you good things like Dragon Veil, still, you have to balance it out. So I think that basically concludes everything about the dragon sect. And I am, like many of you, are disappointed that there's not much story about it. I mean, basically all the real story are finished in the first region in Yulong region. Later on, we just, every time you upgrade Greenscale, you defeat Qingyuan again. Says Yunya comes out and says something, you get a book, read some not so good net story, and that's it. But yeah, I would say it is still not too bad. So as usual, thank you for watching, and if you like this content, please consider leave a like and subscribe. So I will see you next time.